All right, man, you ready?
Let's do it.
Falcons fans, what is going on? It is episode 35 of Out of Your Falcon Mind, Atlanta Falcons fan cast. I am John, your host. Joined by my co-host, one of my co-hosts, Troy. What's going on, bud?
What's happening? Happy Wednesday, hump day.
Yeah. Happy a few things going on these last few days. Holy smokes. So Mike couldn't join us today. He's got some family obligations he had to attend to, which he will tell everybody about probably on the next episode. So anyway, Troy's going to here to hold it down for him. And we were planning on doing it today anyway. Just happened to be, we had no idea, obviously, that number one, I had no earthly dream we'd even be involved in a discussion for Deshaun Watson. But apparently the Falcons met with him today. And I'm going to be looking at my phone probably throughout this whole podcast because shit keeps updating. I get ESPN, Athletic, Score, everything, and get Twitter. Jesus Christ. So anyway, we had planned on, we're still going to, because, like I said before, we're a Falcons podcast, but we do, at least Troy and I, huge Braves fans, huge Hawks fans, United fans. We're going to talk about big stories when they pop up for those teams. And no bigger than this week. Earlier, we'll start off with the Braves, man. Well, first of all, before we get in the Braves, we're going to hit the Braves signings a little bit, and then we're going to get into some free agency, just madness that's been going on. Of course, Deshaun Watson, we're going to talk about that quite a bit. And then some of the free agencies, the free agents that might be left that, we were interested in. Man, so you and I talked last podcast about, I didn't feel that Freddie was going to leave. I think you didn't really, we thought like, it was a good chance, but I just felt in my gut like they're going to get it done. Now the further it dragged out for me, I thought, okay, well, they're going to probably take care of it at this point. It's not going to, he's going to end up with the Dodgers or somebody. Then out of blue, get the notification is like have signed Matt Olson. And that, of course, that pretty much seals the deal there on Freddie. I was sad, but probably not as sad as I would have been if we had nobody and Freddie decides to sign with whoever else. And then we're just sitting there going, oh shit, now we got to scramble and get Matt. So, I was sad to lose the person that Freddie is, to lose the player, the leader, what he brings to the clubhouse every day. That sucks. But the way that AA went and did this, man, the stones he has to go and pull the trigger on that deal for Olsen, because, apparently I guess Freddie was just taking too long to decide. It's his job to make sure, he has to take care of the franchise first. And, to get us basically another version of Freddie at the age 27, they're both 6'5" lefties who kill the ball. Especially Olsen. He should probably hit 40 plus bombs into the chop house this year. I was pretty excited, really excited actually to get him. And the fact they locked him up less than 24 hours later. Standing ovation. Go ahead and build a statue for AA out front somewhere. What say you?
Yep. No, I felt the exact same way. Really, really, really hate to lose Freddie. He was the face of the franchise like we talked about last week. A leader. Players obviously loved him, wanted to re-sign him. I remember at the parade, you probably remember too, John, where basically everybody that they interviewed, Dansby, Tyler Matzik, all of the relievers, everybody, the very first thing they said was re-sign Freddie. So That's, to me, that's important. I think that's why that's one reason why the team was kind of gelled as well as they did last year, was just team chemistry. And I think that's hugely important. And it's proven to matter probably more in baseball than any sport. But all of that said, yes, I am fired up. It couldn't have worked out better. And like you said, AA was a wizard on how he pulled this deal off. Like you said, I think he was, like, the way I understand it from everything that you read and hear, is he kind of, Freddie was like, this is what I want. And the Braves were like, okay, here it is. Where do you sign? Hurry up and sign. And he wouldn't commit, wouldn't sign. So meanwhile, they had this deal kind of in the other hand with, working a potential trade for Matt Olson, and they couldn't keep waiting. And think about how big of a disaster it would have been had they not worked out either deal. Had they kept Olsen on the back burner and then Freddie ultimately said, I want to go to the Dodgers or whoever. Still kind of weird to me how they haven't announced anybody yet.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, something's going on there. Who knows what the whole story is, but no, I mean, like you said, Matt Olson is a great player, great hitter, great glove. Seems like a really, really good person, just from some of the stuff you hear and read about him. Local kid, went to Parkview High, just like Jeff Rancour. All-star last year, 2-time Gold Glover, 5 years younger than Freddie, and probably $10-12 million a year cheaper than Freddie. So I hate losing Freddie, but I could not be more fired up about, what the outcome. And I don't think our lineup's going to miss a beat next year. I really don't.
No, I don't either. And I mean, I guess of course you saw today Rosario is coming back. They signed him to a 2-year, $18 million deal, which is awesome. I think that almost seals the fact that Soler probably won't be back, because I think that'd be kind of a crowded outfield with Duvall and Ozuna. And I know the DH, but you're still going to have that taken care of with one of those guys probably. And then of course Acuna will be back sooner than later. So, I mean,
yeah, I guess that's the only question, is that void while Acuna is still hurt, which theoretically is what, end of May is what I think is what they're saying.
Yeah.
But we'll be okay until then. But no, I think you're right. I hate to lose Soler, but you're right. It's a crowded outfield. Yeah.
And the only thing, a lot of people were pissed about what we gave up as far as mainly because of Shea Langoliers. And I mean, I was really looking forward to seeing him, because, you see the clips and you have just a rocket behind the plate. I mean, stealing stolen bases is kind of not that prevalent anymore. So I mean, it's like, yeah, and especially in the playoffs, nobody wants to take that chance, and to be that out. So, I mean, it sucks that we won't get to see him back there. I mean, I think he's supposed to be a pretty good offensive catcher as well. But I mean, it opens the door for Contreras. I mean, he's shown signs, if he can get consistent, and he's very young. So, I mean, if he can, learn behind d'Arnaud for a few more years and, see where that goes. Pache, I've been over Pache for a couple of years now. I mean, like, just his offense wasn't coming around. If it does, great, but I mean, defensively, that even took a little bit of a slide, I think, for a little bit last year when he was up with us, which is why I couldn't stay up, because defense had slacked a little bit, which is the reason he was up in the first place. So I wasn't too upset. The pitchers, I mean, you never, pitchers, you just don't know what you're going to get.
Crapshoot. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be Adam Wainwright situation, or it could be you never hear of him again, they don't even, so it's whatever. I'm totally fine getting a Gold Glove all-star first baseman, that 27 years old. So
100%.
Yeah. And looking at some of the other moves, I mean, it looks like Jock went, just as of before we started recording, Jock Peterson signed with the Giants. Chris Bryant signed with the Rockies, $182 million, 7 years. That's crazy. I didn't see that coming.
Should light it up there, though.
Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a lot of people too I saw that were 99% of it was all just emotionally attached to Freddie, which, I mean, I'll be honest, man. I mean, like, I love the dude, but I mean, I was over it in about half an hour.
Same.
I was like, and like I said, it's all how it was done. I mean, if we'd have been left holding the bag, and we had nobody, I'd be pissed, and be like, come on now. And from what I understand, what I read, I don't know, it could be false, but what I read was it was a 5-year, $150 million deal. That's what we had offered Freddie. That could be false, who knows? But that's just what I've read. And I mean, $30 million a year. 5 years, I mean, take a chance on yourself. I mean, if he plays 5 years, he's 37. If he wants to play a few more years and he's still at a high level, it may not be us, but somebody's going to give him a contract that's probably pretty lucrative. So, I mean, I guess I don't know. To each his own, man. I don't blame the man for wanting to do the best for his family, but I saw somebody said, bottom line, if he really wanted to be here, then he would have probably been here. So he would have figured it out. Yeah.
No, I mean, I've said it before. I'm not ever one to take money out of someone's pocket, and I'm not going to ever criticize someone for chasing money. But like you said, I mean, who knows what this final contract will be? From everything that I've heard, he was wanting a 6-year.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I mean, after that 5th year, unless he completely fell off the wagon or got hurt or, career was over for whatever reason, someone is going to sign him. It might not be the same locked in yearly contract that he's going to get now, but yes, bottom line is you're right. If he wanted to be a Brave, he would be a Brave. And because of that, I love Freddie. I'm all about retiring his number, whatever. He had a great run, but let's move on. I'm completely on board with Matt Olson.
Yeah. I mean, and bottom line, we're both fans of the team, not necessarily the player. I mean, like, I hope he does well. If he goes to the Dodgers, I hope he does well. The Dodgers suck. I mean, that's, I hope he doesn't go. That's the one team I hope he does not go to. I was hoping actually it would be either Toronto or like, the Red Sox, but it looks like Toronto signed Matt Chapman earlier today. So that's probably done. So maybe the Red Sox, the Padres are in their hat now, got their hat in the ring. So
no, I mean, like, for I guess selfishly, I don't want him playing for the Dodgers simply because it's the Dodgers. We've played in the last 2 playoff years. It's the Dodgers, it's obviously a direct competitor of ours in the National League, but that's almost the one that I can somewhat forgive, I guess, being that he's from there, being that his wife obviously likes to visit there if you follow her Instagram. So, I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like a stick in the eye to the Braves.
13% sales tax there, or not sales tax, but state tax.
That's it. No, I mean, you'd have to have a substantial raise just to offset the taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I kind of low key hope he goes to Boston, so we don't have to worry about it. We don't see him unless it's interleague or who knows, the World Series possibly. But I mean, that's I'd be fine with that. Go up there and have at it, and that'd be a good park for him to hit into. So, but
it would.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I hope that the fans don't jump. I mean, I think the majority of them are on board, but I saw some that are like, I'm going to turn my back. When Olsen is announced, I'm like, what? Why would, so stupid? No, you're going to take it out on Olsen because he has nothing to do with this. And he's like, I mean, that just, I don't know. People crack me up.
No, he seems to be a really, really good guy.
He already gave like $1 million to the Braves Foundation.
I think it's 1% of his overall contract. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I know he got 168, but still, I mean, you're giving over $1 million. I mean, that's something. I mean, but yeah. So anyway, that was a Braves talk. We want to talk about it. Obviously, it's been obviously just happened a few days ago, so we had to address it. Us being Braves fans, and man, dude, it's been like not just with the Falcons and the Braves, but you got the Hawks trying to hold on to their freaking 10th position, which we were texting back and forth. You were at the Portland game, and Portland, right? Yeah. I mean, and we were texting back and forth there because that was just, I mean, thank God they ended up pulling it off. But I was getting so pissed off. Like, I text Troy and I said, dude, text me if they make a run. Because it's when they went down like 15. And I just could not stomach watching it anymore. And literally like 10 minutes later, or maybe less, that you're like, hey, they're doing it. I'm like, no, they're not. And then by the time I turned it on, they were up 3 or 4. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna watch. And Liam was like, my son was like, no, you better turn this off because they're gonna start sucking again. But I finished watching it, and then I guess they're playing the Hornets right now. I don't even know what the score is, but on top of that, man, so the team that I follow, the Premier League team I follow, and a huge fan of, Chelsea. I mean, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but it's been a little bit of a rough couple of weeks, man. Their owner got basically sanctioned by the EU because he's Russian, and
heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, and so now the remaining Champions League home games, they have to play behind closed doors, no fans. Their main sponsors pulled out. They want to take their number off the jersey.
I thought the owner said he was selling though. Like,
he was selling, and yeah. So he was trying to sell it so he would and get it done in a hurry. Well, that didn't happen. The UK government sanctioned him and said, now we're going to take over the sale. So basically all the proceeds will go to the UK, which he didn't want the proceeds anyway. He was going to donate them all to charities or whatever. So he was actually going to donate them to Ukraine. So to Ukrainian, so he was doing the right thing with the funds had he sold it. But
yeah, he's not some Vladimir Putin apologist
right.
That's
he was, that's the thing. He was linked with Putin before, and I mean, I understand why he probably can't come out and publicly say that, screw Putin. I mean, that's probably not a thing for your livelihood, if you're, so I get that, but, yeah. So, but he did the right thing by trying to sell the team, and it's going to be sold. Actually, the Cubs owners, the Ricketts family, are one of the families that are putting a bid on it, which I don't know, that one of the guys, I'm not going to get into it, but, yeah, so we'll see what happens then. But that's been kind of stressful. And then you got the Braves and the freaking Falcons. Just, I thought it was going to be a pretty boring offseason, to be honest with you. I was just like, okay, when I went after, we may sign a free agent or two that are, mid-level or low level, and then, wait for the draft. And then, we get this. Well, who reported it first? Was it Schefter that said the Falcons was going to be like a sleeper? I think it was Adam Schefter.
About Deshaun.
Yeah, about Deshaun.
Yeah.
So they came out. So we'll just get right into Deshaun. So it come out that they were the Falcons were a sleeper team, and then Chris Mortensen reported that they had informed Matt last weekend that they were going to be pursuing Watson. Well, Matt's sister-in-law on Twitter said nope, didn't happen. So, take that for what it is. So I when I first heard that we were in the first of all, I didn't really honestly believe it, because I was trying to figure out how that would even work. And then, I look on Twitter, and I didn't say anything on Twitter because I honestly couldn't really wrap my head around like how I was processing it, because, we'll get into it, but like you saw every gambit on Twitter, every side of it. And I get it, like, totally. Because I'm looking at it like, okay, what are we gonna have to give up? And if we do, then there's going to have to be a deal in place for Matt already, right? Because if Houston wants 3 first-round picks, which I've heard that they want, we don't have any. If nobody has looked around recently, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, we don't have anything like talent-wise. We got like 4 players. A few of them just left. Foyer's gone to the Jaguars. Gage is gone to the Bucks, which, by the way, $30 million for Russell Gage.
Yeah, 3 years.
Congratulations, man. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah. So I now, pre all this allegations and stuff, I'd have been like super excited. But it was just like that kind of like, I don't know, just kind of a sick feeling, like, okay, but and I know the grand jury, found him not guilty on any of the accounts, and we'll get into that too. But still 22 allegations by different women. So, the whole smoke, where there's smoke, there's fire thing, that's typically true. I also understand, and this wouldn't be the first time, that, athletes get to try to get taken advantage of because people know who they are, and they try to do that. So yeah, that was my initial just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this, because and then my thoughts were, we just talked about last week on the show, the Colts possibly being a landing place for Matt well before this Deshaun stuff came up. Just because if it was an actual, if it was a trade, that'd be something that a good spot for him. If we pick, get their picks, great for us, because we need as many picks as we can get. So if that's all lined up and that happens, and we get their picks and we give away our picks, we're losing some picks, but we're also gaining some picks, right? So from the Colts, or whoever. So we're not losing, I guess, a ton really with draft capital, because we're going to be kind of making a switch. So it's possible, I guess. It's definitely possible, fiscally possible. And then if that happens the next year, we're going to have a shit ton of money as far as just what we can go out and spend on free agents. For me, man, it goes back to the whole, I don't know. I don't know what kind of person he is. Like, and it was so, I know like some people don't care about that. That's fine. You don't have to care about it. But I was just saying, it's just like with Ozuna, we'll say this, with Ozuna with the Braves, right? When that first came out with him, I was like, I don't want his ass back in a Braves uniform. If he's holding his wife like by the throat against the wall, no, fuck him. He can go. Well, turns out that body cam footage did not really show that. That's what the police said, but that's not what actually happened. Shocker that, so, it turns out that he and his wife both have some anger issues, and this is not the first time that's happened. It's happened multiple times. I think she was actually he actually called the cops on her back in his Miami days because she came after him with like a frying pan or something. So they got to have some counseling, you know. So when the judge saw that body cam footage, he was like, threw it out. So he's like, nope, you're just going to you need you to do anger management classes and do whatever else. So that being said, you know, you learn new stuff, you learn stuff like that. Your mind can change. That's just how that works, you know. So I'm still iffy on Ozuna, but I mean, you know, if that's really what happened, then okay, you know, fine. If him and his wife are going to reconcile and she's fine with it and he's fine with it and they're getting anger management, they're going to counseling, whatever that is, great. Okay, cool. He's apologized to the team. He apologized to the fans. Okay. You know, Deshaun said from day one that it's all a money grab, you know, and they're all lying. I mean, and I looked more into it, and folks, if y'all haven't read the allegations, I mean, none of it's good. I mean, have you looked really deep into it? I didn't until yesterday.
Yeah.
What was your take on it since I talked for the last 5 minutes?
No, I mean, to me, is it 22 different allegations?
22.
Yeah, that would be a heck of a conspiracy for 22 different women to conspire to all come after the same person for money. Right. So yes, for that reason alone, I'm skeptical. Now that said, I mean, I do, I guess, trust the court system, and I mean, I'm glad he was acquitted of any criminal charges or whatever. So I mean, I'm not going to. He's a terrible person when he did go through the process, you know. But yes, it does naturally make someone skeptical, and yes, I am one of these people that think character does matter, and so that's on one hand. Like the Patriots are notorious and have been successfully over the years taking chances on people, right? Mm-hmm. But when the Patriots have done it, it's not at the risk of like substantial capital for the team, i.e. 3 first-round draft picks. So yes, I would be all about taking a chance on someone like Deshaun Watson if the expense isn't too much. Now, like you just threw out the example of, okay, maybe we could get the Colts first rounds. Let's just pretend like 3 firsts, and then it cost us 3 first rounds to get Deshaun Watson. So ultimately it'd be a wash, let's say. So if that were the case, I wouldn't hate it. It would clearly be a chance on someone that you don't know what kind of person you're getting, but I just don't know how realistic that is. I cannot imagine, like, to me, Matt Ryan and Deshaun Watson aren't apples to apples in the all world, right? Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan's older. He's clearly on the tail end of his career. Deshaun Watson, theoretically, when he's healthy, can be a superstar, right? Mm-hmm. And he's fairly young. You know, he's theoretically in his prime. So, I mean, I think, looking ahead for the next 2-3 years, the football player Deshaun Watson is a win. The human being, I don't know, and that does matter, and we all know it matters. So, to me, I'm all about taking a shot on someone like him if the price is right, and maybe not the right attitude about it, but we all know that Matt Ryan's not going to be the quarterback for the next 5 years, right? Deshaun Watson could be, based on age and whatever else. So I don't know. I just think if it were just like cut and dry, like, okay, to get rid of Matt, we have to dump him off to somebody, and they're going to take this big contract, and they might give us a 3rd round pick or something, but it's going to cost us 3 first round picks to get Deshaun Watson. I'm out immediately. Mm-hmm. Have to get something good in return, somewhat equivalent in return for Matt Ryan, for me to buy into it.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's no way in hell we agree to a trade without knowing we're going to get some draft capital back. There's just we've got too many damn holes. And for anybody that's not aware of the charges and stuff like that, and here's the thing so basically, this is from Sports Illustrated, did a really good article on it, which I was looking at. So with the grand jury thing, Houston PD noted in the search warrants issued for Watson's social media accounts that they were investigating indecent assault and the crimes he committed. And basically they had subpoenaed these people to testify, grand jury. So March 11th, the prosecutor announced that Watson would not face charges after a grand jury returned 9 no bills on 9 criminal complaints against him. Hardin, which is his attorney, released a statement saying, "We are delighted that the grand jury has looked at the matter thoroughly and reached the same conclusion we did." Hardin said, per NFL Media's Ian Rappaport, that Deshaun Watson did not commit any of these crimes and not guilty of any offenses. Now that criminal investigations have been completed, happy to move forward with the civil case dispositions. We will vigorously defend those cases. The thing is, in case, and this is also, they went on to talk about in this article, in cases of sexual misconduct, survivors often prefer civil lawsuits over criminal complaints for a number of reasons beyond financial reparations, which are a normal part of the justice system for any crime. The criminal justice system is ill-equipped to deal with sexual violence investigations, as investigations can re-traumatize survivors, and there is a lack of control over the case handled by the police. A civil case, on the other hand, is guided by the survivor. And according to the University of Texas study, more than 90% of sexual assaults in the state go unreported, which is pretty eye-opening. Civil cases are usually urged to be resolved to other manners besides a trial. So, mediation, arbitration, settlements, whatever. So yeah, basically with the grand jury finding him not guilty is there was not enough evidence for them to say, yes, he did these things, which is what this article, what I just read to you, is basically saying is that's very hard to prove in a case like this, because it's a he said, she said, or in this case, he said and those 22 people said. It is odd the way that they came out, kind of like, and I totally, the 90%, when they said 90% do not report it. I mean, I understand. I mean, like, women don't, especially in a case like this. Like the first lady that came out to report it, she reported as a Jane Doe because she did not want her identity known, because she's going to get attacked now by insane fans and stupid ass people everywhere. But then her name had to come out because she had to, come into the court and do the deposition. So, and like I said, I'm not going to go into the details of what he supposedly did, but if y'all want to look at that, like I said, feel free to look it up. It's nothing good. It's all pretty disgusting and despicable. So like I said, man, and the only people who knows what happened are those women and him. That's it. So we're having to take dude for his word. If you're in a position where your career is on the line, I imagine you're going to probably say, I didn't do any of that stuff. That's just what I would guess. So yeah, and so I don't know, dude. I'm in between on it. I don't know that. I guess if we sign him, I don't know. That's how I felt like. Savion, man, from SBS podcast, shout them out again. He tweeted this morning, man, and it was like literally everything he said, I was thinking. I was like, it was perfect. It was like, in one hand, he's a great player that, he's going to help your team. On the other hand, you're not so sure about the human side of it. And that just leaves that little weird feeling in your gut, and the other side of this, man, is what now? Okay. So if Matt will say they did tell Matt, so that also obviously Matt says, okay, and there's no other probably better professional quarterback in the league to handle this than probably Matt is, because that's just who he is. But as a human being and as a competitor, you're gonna be like, no, well, assholes, Now, if they didn't tell him, and this is all news to him, and you don't sign Watson, now what? My bad, Matt.
So lucky, Matt.
We'll still keep you one more year. Here's Jalen Mayfield. We didn't sign any of those offensive guards that were just out there on the free agency market, but we're going to trust that Jalen's going to be better this year for you. If I'm Matt, dude, I want out, man.
I'm with you. Yep, I would too.
I would say y'all got to find a place to trade me. I don't give a damn what happens to your team. I got 3 or 4 years left, probably 5 tops. And, I want to go to a winner. I don't need this shit. That's exactly what I would do if I was him. And I just spoke with the guards, and we'll get into some of the free agents. But yeah, literally, man, Roger Saffold, who I thought would be a nice little stopgap, or at least a year. He's older, but would have been great there. The Bills just signed him. And then James Daniels, who was going to be more expensive, younger guy, who I thought would be a phenomenal fit, went to the Steelers. So yeah, both of those kind of sucked to see those go sign elsewhere. So And who knows? I mean, we still may draft a guard. There still may be some other guy we pick up. Those were just two of the guys that I really was open for our guys. And then other. So I mean, we didn't even talk about it because we just moved on to this stuff. But our boy Koo did sign 5 years. Made him the second highest average salary behind Justin Tucker. So good for him.
Big cheddar for a kicker.
It is, man.
I mean, he's a stud.
I do too. Yeah, I'm down with it. And then 3-year extension for Jake Matthews, which I thought was good. Kind of surprised Grady hadn't got done yet, but Grady could also be involved in trade discussions. I mean, if that's, I mean, you never know. And then reportedly and Chandler Jones, another guy I wanted was Chandler Jones. He just signed with the Raiders, which I thought that was kind of a long shot that we get him because he wanted to go to a contender. So he said, so, I mean, there's only so much we can really say about where we're at in our, in our rebuild. And then we did tender Zacchaeus. So we do have a receiver. First right of refusal number is 2.4 million. So, we for now have him in the room. And looks like we're interested as reports for Marquez Valles-Scantling Marquez Valles-Scantling from Green Bay, which would be a pretty sweet signing. I think he'd be a good fit. And the Browns just released Austin Hooper, which he could be if Matt's, who knows? I mean, this is all stuff that's happened like in the last 3 or 4 hours. Like this stuff just happened before we came on the show. Von Miller, 6-year deal with the Bills, which I thought he got an insane deal for his age. I thought, but hey,
6 years. I was shocked about 6 years.
Yeah, Miles Jack to the Steelers, Mitchell Trubisky to the Steelers. So I know Steelers fans gotta be hating that. There's no way they're happy with that. Jarvis Landry supposedly going to meet with the Falcons.
He was one of the ones on my list. Of course, I'm a little biased there, but yeah, there's a lot of smoke about him meeting with the Falcons. Yeah.
I mean, he's not the guy he was, but I mean, again, Zacchaeus is our only receiver right now. So, I mean, that'd be, if the price is right, I'd be okay with that. And then we did pick up a 6th-round compensatory pick as well. So we now have another 6th-round pick, which is great. And I heard that we was possibly going to get a 4th and a 5th for Foye and Gage, which would be even better. I mean, just start stacking those picks. So yeah, man, I don't know. I guess that originally Watson said he was going to, or I heard that he was going to make a decision by this evening or tonight, which I think got turned around to it's going to be tomorrow morning, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, I was just refreshing here to see if anything has popped up, and nope, nothing yet. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen folks say that they would be done being Falcons fans if they signed him. They were going to pick another team. I've seen the race thing has came back into it again, and for me personally, and I know you're the same way, dude, I couldn't care less if he was a white guy, if he was a blue guy, if he was an Indian guy. I don't care, man. If these allegations are against you, I don't care what color you are. If you're a scumbag, you're a scumbag, period. And I'm not, again, that's not saying that he is. They could be false. But like I said, 22 is a little. 22 is a lot. I mean, and it's almost it's almost insane both ways, right? Like it's almost like if you're really trying to, you overdid it. You know what I mean? Like if you're really trying to get the man, like 22, like y'all could have stopped at 4 or 5. If it's a fake, like you don't have to go to 22. Or in the other way around, like, damn, if it really is 22, then this dude has got some problems. So. And it was kind of out of left field too. Like I didn't think nothing was. Model citizen at Clemson, right?
Everything that I had heard, and quiet-ish guy with the Texans, and he was towards the last of the folks that I would have thought would have these types of obligations. So.
Me too, man. That surprised me just from the get. But I mean, and stuff I'm reading here now, I mean, it looks like sources are saying we're the front runner, based on so
the last that I'd heard was the Saints were kind of the leading contender, but what I heard is we made him the best offer, but he has a no trade clause. So it's obviously ultimately up to him where he wants. And he was leaning Saints because I guess they have more infrastructure in place to win. So I don't know, but
right. And the other part of this is too, you would hope that Terry and Arthur Blank, who history of the Falcons way and cutting ties with Vic immediately and everything. And I know he's got a relationship with Deshaun that goes back with him being a ball boy, right, with the Falcons. But those guys would have had to have done their work, right? They got to do their homework. I'm sure they've talked to Deshaun. Obviously, if they're meeting, they met with him today. I mean, all that stuff had to be on the table and discussed. And they have to feel 100% confident, I would imagine, that that he's telling the truth.
Gotcha.
Because, I mean, he's going to be suspended for probably 4 to 6 games, I would imagine. I mean, that's, isn't that what Roethlisberger was suspended, like 6 games, I think, when after his deal.
Yeah,
something like that.
And I don't remember exactly that was like, was Roethlisberger suspended during the interim time where they were trying to figure out, like Deshaun didn't play?
I don't remember.
Right. So, I mean, is it possible that kind of like Ozuna, where now that the charges are dropped, he's immediately reinstated? I don't know.
But wasn't he paid all last year though? I think he was still paid.
Could be. That could be. That's a good point.
Yeah. So if he was paid, then he's still going to serve that suspension.
Good point. Yep.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I would trust that those guys, have the decency to make sure all that stuff. I mean, so that just basically, if we're going to ride with that, then we're basically putting all our trust in them that they did what they're supposed to do and they believe that he's innocent. And because that's just it's not a good thing to hang over you, man. Like it's to have hanging over you. I mean, so like I said, I wish I was more excited about it than I am. I mean, I would be ecstatic, if all that shit didn't exist. I mean, it'd be similar to the Freddie situation. Now I'll be hating to lose Matt, but we're getting a ridiculous talent, to replace him. So it'd be that similar thing. So I don't know, man. I just, I can't 100% just go all in and be like, yeah, hell yeah. I don't know. I still need to see, I guess, how the civil thing, because he may have to actually speak at the civil cases. And I think his attorney actually is trying to get it to where he's complete the 5th again. So he doesn't, because you can incriminate yourself at these depositions for these civil cases, or you can say things that will incriminate you and then you're right back to square one. So I'm sure his attorney doesn't want that to happen. So he's probably going to make every effort he can for him not to speak at these things. So yeah, I don't know. Like we said from the beginning, and like you said, if we're not getting a hefty return for Matt to make up for what we would be theoretically losing for getting Deshaun, then I'm way out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm just glancing through here, man. It's funny. It's a plethora of different opinions, and I mean, nobody can be cordial to each other. Like I don't think like some people are saying, if you're okay with the sounding, that means you're okay with sexual assault. That's not necessarily the case there. I would like to see the whole thing. And like, again, you're not going to know the full picture unless you're just not going to know. We're never going to know. Like, I mean, he's going to probably say he didn't do anything till the day he dies. These women are probably going to say that he did. So again, as he said, she said, and I mean, it's just a shitty situation altogether. Like I said, one, I didn't think we'd be talking about for us. I thought we'd be discussing, something else, and but how about it though? If he ends up with the Saints, this is going to be hilarious. Like all this. That's part of the reason I didn't engage in all the Twitter stuff, man. It was like, it's just like tiring almost. Like, let's just see what happens and then we'll go from there. But I don't know. You have any other final thoughts on it?
Oh, and Arthur and Fontenot we trust, because I'm with you. We have to believe those guys to do the right thing and vet properly and hopefully know something that we don't know about the situation. So I would like to think if it does happen, they know better than we do about his character, but I don't.
Yeah, because I mean, worst case, these civils. I mean, like I said, most of what's going to happen with the civil suits is there'll be a settlement, or like I said, a mediation, arbitration, something like that. So, and most of the women that are on the case are claiming, of course, physical abuse, mental anguish, all the stuff that comes with, obviously, if that happened, being assaulted. So I mean, I get every bit of that, and which is, like I said, why I have a hard time just going full on into it. I mean, if you have a significant other or somebody that's went through it, or even somebody that it's you don't just brush it off as like, okay, grand jury found him innocent, we're good to go. That's not that simple. It's been in these cases, it's just not. That's just facts. It's not that simple. I mean, if you want to say that, okay, that's it, then that's your opinion, but facts are that's how most of those cases are. And we haven't even brought up the fact that he is an athlete and he has money, and we've all seen in the past how that goes a long way. If he's Deshaun Watson from around the street that works at Walmart, dude's probably already in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it's the reality of it. So anyway, so yeah, we'll see, man. I was hoping that something would happen while we're recording here, but yeah, nothing so far. And I guess it won't happen. It's 8:45 now, probably till tomorrow. So anyway, so of the free agents that are left out there, man, any other than Jarvis that?
Yeah, no, you already mentioned Jarvis, and you mentioned some of the guys that you know me. I'm all about the edge rushers, and depending on what free agency, I'd kind of like to go edge with our first pick. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned Von Miller, Chandler Jones, Zadarius Smith, all today, so they're all off the market. I don't know that we were in contention for any of them anyways, to your point about them wanting to play for a contender. I think Jadeveon Clowney's still out there. Don't know if we'd want to go there or not, or if it would even be a possibility. Tyrann Mathieu is out there. I don't know how realistic that is, but obviously a really good safety that sounds like he's not re-signing with the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's right, because they just signed Jackson, didn't they? Kareem Jackson, yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure either he said or they said he wasn't coming back. So he's.
I love to have him back there in the secondary, man.
Oh, he's a ball hawk, man. He can do it all. I mean, he would be a great addition. Don't know how realistic it is. Again, he might be wanting.
He's a dude who remade himself too, man. Like completely. I mean, like he's turned himself into a ridiculously good pro. I think he would, if we keep Richie and some of these other guys, he'd be a good influence on those guys. Show them how it's done. But yeah, this is kind of pretty much similar guys that I was kind of hoping for too.
Wanted to ask you about Eric Fisher. Obviously, he's a left tackle. Wouldn't fit with Jake Matthews there, but would there? I guess first of all, what do you think about it? I mean, he was first overall pick, 2013 draft.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he's not re-signing with the Colts. Getting up there a little bit in age, but would there be any possibility at all that he could maybe move to right tackle or
left guard?
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be great. Play him next. If he can move, play him next to Jake. And no, dude. I would. I haven't been sold on McGarry for a while, so I mean, I'd be just fine if he thought he was capable of playing right tackle. Then yeah, because he's been really good for.
Yeah.
The Colts offensive line in general has been really good for quite a while. So I mean, I would. I'd take a shot at that for sure. Well, would you?
Absolutely. The only thing I don't know is if he could move. I just don't know if him or Jake Matthews would have that flexibility, versatility, whatever. But no, I'm all about adding to our offensive line. He's a stud. So.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so much is going to depend on now. I guess this Watson deal. I mean, we may not even be having a first round pick this year, or so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the Colts don't have a first round pick this year. I think the Colts have 2 seconds, if I'm correct. So we would end up getting, I guess, their 2 second round picks and maybe a first next year for Matt, if that's what happened.
Yeah, and I think that just gets back to the whole discussion that we have so many holes. We need to be stacking picks, not getting rid of them. And at least for the near term, we know next year is not going to be the year, maybe not even the year after that. So I can't imagine giving up the farm for someone like Deshaun Watson today. But
no, me either. Actually, I just pulled up the Colts. So they've got the 42nd overall from Washington and the third round, the 73rd overall from Washington. They have no first round pick.
So mid-ish second and then a third.
They have a second, 2/3, a fourth, 2/5, a sixth, and a seventh. So yeah, we would have to pull a first from next year's or even the fall. I mean, looking at the haul that they gave up for Wilson. I mean, yeah, this all makes me nervous, man. This whole thing makes me nervous.
I'm with you. I mean, as we've talked about in going down the draft positions, at least in my mind, quarterback is not the top priority. I mean, we have a quarterback for the next 1 to 2, maybe even beyond, at least 2 years theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the replacing Matt is just not the top of my agenda right now.
No, I agree. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I've never been so conflicted, man. I mean, it seems crazy to think that, top 5 QB we could possibly get. And we're both sitting here like,
Well, I guess, okay. I guess look at it this way, remove potential major, massive character flaw, criminal, whatever, however you get it. I mean, who you compare in the league skill wise to Deshaun Watson?
I mean, he's a better version of Russell Wilson, I guess.
Okay, so say Russell Wilson then. What would you have given up? Would you have given up a similar haul as what the Broncos did for him, for Russell Wilson?
I mean, they're in a little better spot than we are, I think, as a team. But
agreed.
But damn, I don't know, man. Like I said, I would feel better if we were in a better spot. Like it gives me anxiety to just give away.
No, I completely agree. I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at is we have so many needs that we have to have first, second, third round draft picks. We can't afford to give up the next 3 years worth of first round draft picks for I don't care who it is. That's
well, it was one thing we didn't talk about, and say this happens, say this all goes down the way we're talking about. We get Watson, Matt's traded. We end up with $100+ million in spending. I mean, do we go all Rams and be like, free agents come our way, and we just go buy because you saw what the Rams did. They're like, fuck the draft. We're just going to pay everybody all these, get all this talent, this made talent here in the NFL, and go that direction.
No, I mean, it's a good point. If money wasn't the issue, we had $100 million, let's say, to spend. Could we physically pull that off? Do we have the same draw appeal as Los Angeles?
I think if you bring Watson, you probably do.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, we are lacking that Deshaun Watson kind of level superstar that players want to come play with. So, yeah, you may be right.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he would put more butts in the seats, but there's also going to be the people that don't come because of the human side of it, again. So like, I don't know. That's just stuff that, I'm glad I'm not making the decision on it, because that's stuff that, Terry has to worry about, and Arthur Smith has to worry about, Arthur Blank has to worry about. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I've tossed it around so much. I was hoping by the time the show started to have a little bit more, I feel more, just at least one way about it, but I don't know, man. Like I said, I wish that the whole thing was over with, the civil case, the whole 9 yards, everything was done. I think even when it ends, I'm still going to have this kind of just feeling in the back of my head and, my gut, like, I'm not going to stop rooting for the team or anything like that. I don't know. Like I said, it's just one of those. It's just a weird situation to be in, man. I hate to keep saying it over and over again, but it just is. It's just strange. But yeah, I mean, and I guess we'll wait and see how this. I mean, the next show we do, obviously, this will all be settled. He'll be either here or somewhere else. And if he's with the Saints, I'm going to bring Chris's ass back on and get his opinion on it.
Yeah, I guess like the times that he's been on, it really hasn't been even in the discussion, has it? So
No, actually, I texted with him maybe, I don't know, was it last night or night before when the Saints came up as a possibility. And let's see, actually, did I even say anything to him about that? No, I didn't. So yeah, he was just talking. He had sent me a text about Olakun going to Jacksonville, and which we didn't talk about that, but that was a pretty wealthy deal for him too. So I don't think I would have done $15 million a year.
no, I loved him, but I can't imagine paying him that.
And yeah, I know. Oh no, I did ask him about Washington. He said, "Yeah, I hope we do. I don't mind giving up 3 first-round picks."
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll have to expand on that if they actually do go to the Saints, see where he's at. But yeah, like I said, man, I don't know. We'll all know probably like tonight or in the morning, midday tomorrow, and then sports radio can go nuts, and then we can all yell at each other that everybody has the wrong opinion and everybody's stupid. You should all think the way we think. so, yeah. I don't know. I was trying to get a feel from Amanda, because she's a football fan. Her main thing was like, yeah, I'll definitely take Matt Ryan on the Colts. But she hasn't really followed the whole case very, very closely either. So, which I'll be honest with you, I knew the case was going on, but it's the Texans, and it was it was out of sight, out of mind, kind of for me. Like I read what happened when it first happened, and but as soon as our name got thrown in it, I was like, oh shit, let me research this a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, it's not good, but again, he said, she said, so I guess you just go with what you think there. But anyway, man, so I guess that's we'll move on. I didn't say we do underrated or overrated. We can do it. Do you want to do overrated, underrated? Off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can come up with one underrated. I guess it's underrated. I don't know, but a lot of chatter on social media these days in light of, I guess, Sunday about daylight savings time. You probably heard, John, but the Senate voted to never change the time again and just leave it.
I did not hear.
No, apparently, it was yesterday, and it passed. And I don't know the next steps. I don't know if the House votes on it, or I don't know what the next step is. But yeah, so I would say that daylight savings time is underrated. For me, I don't care what it's like outside at 6:30 in the morning when it usually doesn't affect me anyways. But I like it being fairly light outside at 8 o'clock at night. So I'll take that extra hour or hour and a half or whatever of daylight, and I'm fine if we just keep it like this for forever.
I 100% agree. Yeah, I get kind of tired of well, as soon as it changes, and then for us with baseball, it's like that's with Liam. It's another issue. So I mean, yeah, I'm totally fine if it stays the way it is. I mean, and in my business, I mean, it gives my folks more time out in the field to work, so they're not rushing home before it's dark and they can't do their job. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it benefits me all the way around. Yeah, I'll do underrated too. So it's probably not underrated. This is probably a bad thing to say, but the automatic braking systems on cars. Do you have a newer one? Do you have this on your function on your car?
I don't think I do. My car is newer, but it's the base model, and I don't think I have that feature.
Okay, well, let me tell you. I've got it's a 2020, and it's a great feature, I guess. I mean, safety wise, of course, it's going to brake whenever it feels like there's something, you're about to hit something or you're going too fast. And the problem is, I was pulling into my freaking garage yesterday, and I pull into my garage every day, so I'm pretty good at it. And I don't hit the walls, I'm good. And I must have been going like a mile or two over what it thought I should have been going on. And dude, when it stops, I mean, it throws on the like emergency brake. Yeah, like it's this thing, like the alarms go off, there's lights. I mean, it's just like it scares the shit out of you, number one, because it just and you're just jolted forward. If I had groceries in the freaking seat that all were like on my floor, and I was like, what the hell? Like I'm literally just pulling into my garage. Like I don't, it's actually, and knock on wood, it's never happened when I'm out driving, like in traffic. I mean, I like to think it's because I'm paying attention and I stop. I'm supposed to stop. But yeah, man, that thing it's like it's happened several times now where it just like out of nowhere, boom. And I looked around. I'm like, I'm not near the side of the walls. I'm not near. Like I couldn't figure out why the hell it just all of a sudden did that. But yeah, just no, so that'd be overrated.
It's overrated. Yeah,
it's overrated. Yeah,
it's overrated. Yeah,
totally overrated. Yeah. So just watch where you're going and don't look at your phone. And you don't need automatic or emergency braking. You should be able to just brake just fine. But man, yeah, that was a pain. I was trying to think of underrated because I didn't think about it earlier. Like, dude, I'm telling you, like I haven't been able to work like as much because like since doing the show, like we kind of got to stay up on things, for the most part. But I'm sitting here today, like my I just can't even keep up. Like I'm refreshing, and there's like signing. And the Braves are doing something, Then we've got this shit with Watson, so I'm refreshing every 5 seconds to see if something's signing there. And it's like, my God, I mean, like I don't know. Yeah, I don't even, I can't imagine doing it as a living, actually that would be easier because that's all you're worried about. Like now I'm trying to work and, my actual job that pays me money, and not just a hobby that I have that, doesn't do anything. So, but here I am, trying to keep up with the signings, and then, we got to get to baseball practice, and then, so the weekend, man, I mean, it's like, no, I don't even really look at my phone during the games when he's playing because, it's just a kind of a dick thing to do. In between games, sure, I'll check it out, something like that, or somebody calls me or whatever. But yeah, I'm not going to, when we've got games this Saturday too. So hopefully all this madness and whatever has been taken care of by then. So we can, I don't have to worry about it. But we will probably be back probably next Wednesday, I'm guessing. When we'll be talking about whoever we've signed or not signed, and what else happens between now and then, who knows? But yeah, so and Mike hopefully will be back depending on his situation. But he was really upset he couldn't make it tonight. But I know he's got opinions on this as well. So and that we
see what Mike has to say.
Yeah, no, we got to hear his opinions on it. So we will get that next time around. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you for listening to us. Me and Troy chop it up here for a little bit about the craziness these last few days. If you don't like the Braves, you could fast forward through that first. It's too late now, but you could have fast forwarded through that first 10, 15 minutes or something like that. But Troy, have you checked the Hawks game by any chance?
It was 67-62 at the half.
Us?
They're down by 2 now. 6.5 minutes left in the fourth. Down by 2. 97.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, it's perfect time to end the show then. Okay. So we're going to go finish watching the Hawks game, guys. We appreciate you listening to us. You can follow us on Twitter at Out of Your FN Mind, Out of Your, and then FN Mind. When we tweet out the shows, guys, feel free to retweet it, man. That'd be great because the more people that can see it, the more people we can get to listen, and we can keep growing. And it's been awesome so far. Our listenership keeps going up. I try to get on Twitter and follow, and it's another job all to itself. So we're almost at 200 followers. So if you're not following us, go on there and follow us. Baby steps, we're getting there. We'll keep growing the account. I know that's a necessary evil. You have to get on there to gain, get viewership and listenership and everything. So we do it for sure. And it met some great people on there too. So I'm not going to hate it completely. Also, you can follow us on Instagram, Out of Your Falcon Mind. You can like the Facebook page, just search Out of Your Falcon Mind, like it. And on YouTube, we're actually streaming live right now. And you can follow us there, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And then on iTunes and Spotify, we say it every week, and you're probably tired of me saying it, but go on there, leave us a 5-star review. If you write us a few words on iTunes, we will happily shout you out on the show because it means the world to us. Helps us get more recognition out in there in the world of Falcons podcast. So, and we will keep on going. We'll try to do one a week on through the off season, and we may take a break depending on our vacation schedules and stuff like that. For a few weeks, but we're going to keep on going, talking about the off season and the free agency and who we sign, who we don't sign, draft picks, in the upcoming season. And guys, if you didn't listen to us, if you're a new listener, during the season, we do a preview show every week for the game on Sunday, and we do a review show, a recap show as well. And a lot of times that's right after the game. Sometimes we'll do it after the game, so we kind of get that immediate reaction. Someday, in some games, we had to let digest for about 24 hours before we could talk about it logically. So we would do that on Monday or Tuesday. So we'll keep doing that, of course, and keep getting some guests on. We've had a few great guests so far. We're going to keep reaching out to people, especially after I want to get some people on, but I want to wait till we've got some solid, signings and stuff are kind of in place so we can talk about it, instead of just speculating about literally everything. So anyway, guys, we really appreciate it. And tell your Falcons friends about Out of Your Falcon Mind. We would greatly appreciate that too. Troy, it's been great, man. As always, appreciate you joining me.
Yes, sir. Enjoyed it.
Yep. We'll catch you guys next week on Out of Your Falcon Mind. We out. All right. Sorry, just got a stupid email. Yeah, that was good. I mean, like I said, man, it just sucks. I really don't know how Mike feels about it. Like, he hadn't said it. Of course he's, not top of his mind right now today, but I think he'd be okay with it, but he's going to hate the whole Matt side of it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it was last week we talked about the idea of losing Matt. What was it? What was kind of the rumor then? I guess the Colts, right? Trading